Hollywood is shrinking in plain sight, and not in the glamorous way fans imagine. Stars are hitting the red carpet looking shockingly thin, their faces sharper, their bodies nearly unrecognizable, leaving millions asking, what happened? The truth is darker than the headlines. A diabetes drug turned miracle weight loss shortcut is sweeping through celebrity circles, but the side effects are anything but glamorous. Behind every dramatic transformation lurk nausea, muscle loss, brittle bones, and bodies pushed to the edge. Today, we're uncovering the real cost behind Hollywood's most drastic makeovers, and it's far more alarming than you think. 1. James Corden, the transformation no one believes. James Corden built an entire career on charm, humor, and a rare sincerity about his long battle with weight. For years, audiences connected with him because he wasn't the typical Hollywood leading man. He was proof that wit and personality could shine brighter than perfectly sculpted abs. His self-deprecating jokes weren't just comedy, they were his shield and his brand. But then, almost overnight, everything changed. When Corden suddenly reappeared looking drastically slimmer, applause quickly turned into questions. The former Late Late Show host publicly credited his transformation to simple daily walks and eating a bit less. Yet the timeline and the severity of his physical changes raised eyebrows among medical experts and longtime fans. Doctors who reviewed his before and after photos pointed out unmistakable signs of rapid pharmaceutical weight loss, sharply hollowed cheeks, loose facial skin, and a drained, fatigued look that natural dieting rarely produces. Behind the scenes, whispers grew louder. Crew members from his final season reported that Corden was no longer the energetic powerhouse they had worked with for years. He needed frequent breaks, appeared winded by minor tasks, and tapings were often rearranged to accommodate his declining stamina. Even his social media presence showed cracks. Fans noticed long posting gaps during the period of his most dramatic weight drop, along with inconsistencies in his public appearances that suggested something more controlled and more concealed than a simple lifestyle shift. For a man who built his reputation on being real, Corden's silence speaks volumes. By continuing to promote a narrative many experts say doesn't add up, he risks undermining the very trust that made audiences love him in the first place. In the end, James Corden's weight loss story isn't just about a shrinking waistline, it's about the cost of Hollywood perfection and how quickly credibility can wither when authenticity is replaced with secrecy. 2. Mindy Kaling, from curves to controversy. For years, Mindy Kaling was Hollywood's unapologetic force, the sharp-tongued writer, actress, and producer who turned her insecurities into power. She was celebrated not just for her talent, but for her honesty. She embraced her curves publicly, joked about them boldly, and built an empire on being real in an industry obsessed with perfection. But the Mindy the world sees today is almost unrecognizable. Recent photos reveal a figure drastically slimmer, with a transformation so abrupt it left fans stunned. In interviews, she repeats the same line, a healthier lifestyle, more workouts, better habits, yet the timeline tells a different story. Dramatic, natural weight loss doesn't happen this fast, not without something far more drastic behind the curtain. And the timing, even more suspicious. Her transformation aligned perfectly with the filming of a major project infamous for enforcing strict beauty standards on its stars. Industry insiders call it anything but coincidence. They claim the pressure was immense, and Mindy, once the queen of self-acceptance, quietly caved. Her social media only deepens the mystery. During the most extreme phase of her weight loss, fans noticed strategic angles, oversized outfits, and long gaps between posts. It wasn't a woman celebrating change. It looked like someone hiding it. Meanwhile, whispers from colleagues paint an unsettling picture, the confident, joke-cracking Mindy replaced by a star obsessing over reflections, fretting over every pound, every camera angle. The woman who once mocked Hollywood beauty rules was now bending to them. Fans are torn. Some cheer her on. Others feel betrayed. What's undeniable is the shift in her presence, the once fearless trailblazer now offering careful answers, vague explanations, and rehearsed optimism. Mindy's story isn't just about losing weight, it's about losing the authenticity that made her a symbol of empowerment, and for many longtime fans, that loss stings more than any number on a scale. 3. John Goodman, the legend who became unrecognizable. For decades, John Goodman was Hollywood's gentle giant, the warm, commanding presence whose booming laugh and effortless charisma carried everything from Roseanne to The Big Lebowski. He didn't just act on screen, he filled the room, becoming a symbol of authenticity in an industry obsessed with appearances. But at a recent industry event, the man who walked onto the carpet didn't look like the John Goodman fans had loved for years. His cheeks were sunken, his frame startlingly thin, his once vibrant face appeared drained, almost fragile. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Some attendees didn't even recognize him until someone murmured, "That's John Goodman." Within hours, the photos exploded across social media. Concern drowned out curiosity. That can be him. Is he sick? What happened? Behind the scenes, insiders say the answer reveals something far darker, the brutal, unrelenting pressure of Hollywood standards. Even with a legendary resume, a devoted fan base, and decades of respect, Goodman wasn't spared. Younger actors were suddenly sliding into roles he'd been in the running for, and one insider claims his agent urged him to update his image if he wanted to stay competitive. For a man who built his career on talent, not appearance, the pressure cut deep. But the real alarm isn't the weight loss, it's the toll. Multiple sources allege that Goodman's transformation has led to serious health complications, including 2 rumored emergency hospital visits. His team refuses to comment, but friends are reportedly stepping in behind closed doors, worried that what began as professional pressure has spiraled into something dangerous. What makes this story heartbreaking is simple: Goodman never needed to change. Fans adored him exactly as he was, genuine, down-to-earth, larger than life in the best possible way. Yet even Hollywood icons aren't immune to its most toxic demand, to shrink themselves for approval. And today, fans aren't just applauding his new look, they're pleading with him to protect his health, his peace, and the legacy he built long before appearances ever mattered. 4. Chelsea Handler, breaking Hollywood's code of silence. In a city built on flawless illusions, very few celebrities dare to speak the truth. But Chelsea Handler did what most of Hollywood would never risk. She admitted it openly. The sharp-tongued comedian, known for fearless honesty and a career built on calling out nonsense, revealed that she had joined the same pharmaceutical weight loss craze sweeping quietly and dangerously through Hollywood, and what she confessed left fans stunned. Chelsea described side effects that went far beyond discomfort. They were devastating. Waves of nausea so intense she could barely function. Mood swings that fractured relationships. Digestive issues so severe she found herself seeking emergency medical care. "It felt like I was poisoning myself for vanity," she said, a sentence that sliced straight through Hollywood's polished facade. The most disturbing part wasn't the suffering, it was how easily she got the drug. "My anti-aging doctor was handing it out like candy," she said. "I didn't even know what I was taking until the damage was done." Her confession shattered the glamorous illusion crafted by filtered Instagram photos and perfect red carpet silhouettes. Yes, her transformation was dramatic, but the aftermath was far uglier than any tabloid headline. And quitting the medication didn't magically fix everything. Months later, Chelsea admitted she was still struggling. Constant fatigue, unpredictable digestion, emotional fallout, and a body trying desperately to recover from what she now calls the worst decision I ever made for my health. Fans who once envied her effortless glow-up now see the hidden cost. Her honesty exposed what Hollywood desperately tries to hide. The recovery is slow, the effects are real, and the price of a slimmer frame can linger long after the spotlight fades. Chelsea Handler may have built her fame on jokes, but her story now stands as one of the most sobering warnings about the dark side of rapid celebrity transformations. 5. Lizzo, when body positivity meets Hollywood pressure. For years, Lizzo was the unshakable champion of self-love, the bold, unstoppable voice telling millions to embrace their bodies, reject toxic beauty standards, and celebrate every curve without apology. She didn't just sing confidence, she embodied it. She became the symbol of a movement. But when paparazzi photos revealed a drastically slimmer Lizzo, the world didn't applaud. It froze. The internet erupted instantly. Shock, confusion, anger, all spilling out in one viral comment that cut deeper than any insult. So body positivity was just a brand. Her transformation wasn't just surprising, it was seismic, not because weight loss is unusual, but because of who it came from, the woman who built her legacy fighting the very culture she now seemed to align with. According to insiders, the change wasn't driven solely by personal choice. Sources close to the singer whisper about mounting pressure from her label, declining streaming numbers, and executives urging a marketable refresh. The woman who once stood fiercely against Hollywood standards suddenly found herself boxed in by them. Behind the radiant Instagram posts and defiant lyrics was a woman fighting a private war between her message and her reality. The backlash has been merciless. Critics label her a hypocrite, fans feel abandoned, comment sections fill with disappointment instead of support. Yet those close to Lizzo describe something far more painful, a woman quietly unraveling. They say she admits behind closed doors that she feels like she hasn't just lost weight, she's lost herself, and that seps the tragedy of it all. Lizzo once inspired millions to love themselves loudly. Now she stands as a reminder of how even the strongest voices can buckle under Hollywood's relentless demands. Her story isn't set about shrinking. It's about the brutal battle between authenticity and survival in an industry that punishes anyone who dares to be real. 6. Rebel Wilson, the year of health exposed. When Rebel Wilson proudly declared her self-proclaimed year of health, fans erupted with excitement. The Australian actress, adored for her confidence, comedic brilliance, and unapologetic presence, suddenly became the poster woman for transformation through discipline, hard work, and self-love. She posted intense workout clips, shared motivational speeches, documented hikes, and became a beacon of hope for thousands who believed her journey proved that natural effort could finally conquer Hollywood's unforgiving beauty standards. But behind the perfectly curated Instagram feed, another story was quietly unfolding. Investigative reports and murmurs from industry insiders began hinting that Wilson's dramatic transformation may not have been as wholesome or as natural as she claimed. Medical professionals analyzing her rapid changes pointed out telltale markers of pharmaceutical weight loss, the abrupt facial thinning, the uneven body shifts, and a timeline that simply didn't align with the slow, steady progress she described to her followers. Even more explosive were the alleged confirmations from individuals connected to her medical team, claiming that weight loss drugs had been part of her regimen from the very beginning. If true, the revelation didn't just crack her narrative, it shattered it. Some industry watchers even called it one of Hollywood's most polished and profitable deceptions in years. And then came the realization that made fans feel betrayed. Rebel monetized the journey. She launched fitness initiatives, sold lifestyle programs, and signed endorsement deals, all built on the inspirational myth of pure effort and clean discipline. For those who spent money, time, and trust following her example, the possibility of a fabricated narrative stung deeply. Former colleagues paint an even darker backdrop, describing noticeable personality changes during her transformation, heightened mood swings, increased fixation on appearance, and growing distance from friends who dared question her methods. The woman who once celebrated body diversity was now seemingly swallowed by the very standards she used to mock. Rebel Wilson's year of health may have transformed her body, but it also transformed her reputation. What was meant to inspire millions may instead become a cautionary tale about the lengths celebrities will go to sculpt the perfect story and the damage that follows when the truth finally breaks through the illusion. 7. Kourtney Kardashian, the wellness queen under fire. For years, Kourtney Kardashian carved out a different identity within the Kardashian dynasty. While her sisters embraced the flash of private jets, couture, and curated excess, Kourtney positioned herself as the grounded one, the advocate of clean living, organic food, and natural wellness. Through her lifestyle brand Poosh, she built an empire around purity, balance, and transparency. But her latest transformation has cracked that image wide open. Her new appearance is impossible to ignore: a noticeably slimmer figure, chiseled facial definition, and a sudden radiance that seemed to appear overnight. Publicly, she credited the same clean eating and mindful living she's preached for years, but medical experts reviewing her photos tell a different story, pointing out the clear hallmarks of rapid, drug-assisted weight loss, not slow, natural change. And that's where the contradiction becomes impossible to overlook. Kourtney has spent years selling detox teas, pricey supplements, and holistic advice to millions who trust her as a wellness authority. Yet insiders whisper that behind the scenes, she may be relying on shortcuts she publicly warns against. To loyal followers who shape their lifestyles around her guidance, the possibility feels less like inconsistency and more like betrayal. Even within the Kardashian circle, tension reportedly simmers. Sources claim her sisters fear Kourtney's secret could undermine the family's already fragile credibility, and Kourtney's refusal to answer direct questions in interviews, paired with highly edited, carefully staged Instagram posts, only intensifies the speculation. Now the mystery is overshadowing the message, and it threatens to dismantle the trust she's spent years cultivating. What makes Kourtney's situation uniquely damaging is her influence. She isn't just selling beauty, she's positioning herself as an expert on health, healing, and authenticity. If the foundation of her brand is built on selective truth or outright deception, the fallout could be enormous, financially, publicly, and personally. Behind the organic branding and carefully curated wellness aesthetic may lie Hollywood set's most dangerous contradiction: preaching natural while secretly living artificial. 8. Scott Disick, from Playboy to a shadow of himself. Scott Disick was once the unstoppable spark of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the razor-sharp suit-wearing showman whose humor and swagger made him a fan favorite. He was Lord Disick, the charming troublemaker with a youthful glow and an endless supply of confidence. But those days feel far away now. Recent public appearances have left fans stunned. The once vibrant reality star now looks shockingly frail, hollow cheeks, sunken eyes, and a thin, weary frame that has ignited a wave of worry across social media. The speed of his physical decline is what alarms insiders most. Friends close to the Kardashian circle say the transformation happened in a matter of months, right as pressure mounted for Scott to remain relevant in the family's ever-evolving media machine. Even on their reality show, makeup artists reportedly struggled to soften his sharp, gaunt features for the cameras, but off-screen, the situation is said to be even more troubling. Family members, especially Kourtney Kardashian, are deeply concerned about his health and the impact it may have on their children. Sources claim several quiet interventions have been attempted, but none have produced lasting change. Friends describe personality shifts that mirror his physical downfall, heightened anxiety, mood swings, and a growing reclusiveness that contrasts sharply with his once social lifestyle. Those closest to Scott fear his fixation on staying young and camera-ready has driven him toward dangerous shortcuts. What once seemed like harmless pride in his appearance now looks like toxic vanity spiraling out of control. The toll is no longer just physical, it's emotional, leaving Scott withdrawn, insecure, and barely recognizable as the charismatic Lord Disick fans grew up watching. This isn't about fame anymore. It's about survival in an industry that punishes aging, devours insecurity, and never lets its stars escape the spotlight, even when the light turns cruel. 9. Sharon Osbourne. When weight loss went too far. Sharon Osbourne has never been one to hide behind Hollywood's polished facade. The outspoken TV icon, known for her biting humor on The Talk and her powerhouse presence beside her husband, Ozzy Osbourne, stunned fans when she revealed the shocking truth behind her dramatic weight loss. What began as a simple attempt to slim down with medication spiraled into something far more dangerous. Instead of confidence and control, Sharon found herself growing weaker by the day. Her once vibrant frame turned frail, skeletal, and unrecognizable, even to those closest to her. She admitted that the weight dropped off so quickly, friends were startled when they saw her. But there was nothing empowering about it. Sharon described a reality filled with constant nausea, overwhelming fatigue, and the inability to perform even the most basic tasks. Eating became nearly impossible. Everyday activities became battles. Some days, she said, walking across a room felt like climbing a mountain. And the worst part? Stopping the medication didn't erase the damage. Sharon revealed she was left with long-term consequences, an inability to regain healthy weight, lingering digestive problems, and a body struggling to recover from the drastic shock it had endured. But perhaps the most haunting part of her confession was the psychological toll. Sharon admitted she became addicted to the rapid results, even as she watched her health deteriorate. The rush of shrinking sizes and shifting numbers created a dangerous cycle that was as intoxicating as it was destructive. Her brutal honesty makes her one of the few celebrities willing to expose the dark side of Hollywood's weight loss obsession. Sharon Sepp's warning is chilling in its simplicity. No image, no spotlight, and no miracle fix is worth losing your health or losing yourself. 10. Jessica Simpson, The Price of Perfection. Jessica Simpson has never lived far from the spotlight. From early 2000s pop sensation to fashion mogul, she built an empire on openness, charm, and the kind of relatability that made millions feel like they grew up with her. But her latest transformation hasn't inspired applause. It has raised eyebrows. The singer who once spoke bravely about her post-pregnancy struggles and lifelong battle with weight now appears almost unrecognizable, igniting a storm of suspicion. Officially, Jessica credits discipline, clean eating, and relentless hard work, but fitness experts studying the timeline say it simply doesn't add up. The slim down was too fast, too dramatic, too precisely timed to be explained by healthy choices alone. Social media sleuths noted gaps in her posting schedule that sync perfectly with periods of her most drastic change, and those flawless selfies. Fans argue they look more like strategic cover-ups than celebrations of progress. What makes the situation sting even more is Jessica's history. She built her brand on honesty, on sharing her insecurities openly, crying on camera, and letting fans see the messy parts of life most celebrities hide. That vulnerability earned her trust. Now many of those same fans feel deceived. Instead of inspiring women, her new narrative risks pushing unrealistic expectations dressed up as empowerment, and behind the scenes, insiders whisper about a much darker reality: obsessive daily weigh-ins, extreme food restriction, and mood swings so severe they disrupted her work. Staff members allegedly saw a star chasing an ideal that kept slipping further out of reach. Jessica Simpson once encouraged women to embrace their curves, to love themselves at every stage. Today she appears trapped in the very machine she once tried to rise above, the ruthless Hollywood beauty system that devours authenticity. Her transformation isn't just about weight loss. It's about a brand built on truth, and fans now wondering whether the Jessica they see online is a woman they can still recognize, or just another perfectly curated illusion for the spotlight. 11. Oprah Winfrey, the queen of authenticity, faces her biggest backlash. For decades, Oprah Winfrey has been Hollywood's benchmark for honesty, the woman millions trusted to speak the truth when others hid behind scripts and image consultants. She built an empire not on perfection, but on vulnerability, empathy, and the raw courage to share her most painful struggles with the world. That's why her recent confession sent shockwaves through her devoted fan base. When Oprah admitted she had turned to weight loss medication, many felt blindsided. This wasn't just another celebrity taking a shortcut. This was the woman who built her legacy on transparency. The woman who cried on national television about her battles with dieting, self-image, and emotional eating. The woman whose honesty made people feel seen. Her relatability wasn't just part of her story, it was her brand. And now, her sudden embrace of the very trend she had once spoken cautiously about feels, to many, like a betrayal. Like the ground shifted beneath them. Industry experts warn the implications are far greater than one celebrity's personal decision. Oprah's influence reaches far beyond entertainment. For millions, she is a trusted guide in health, self-worth, and emotional healing. When she speaks, people listen and often follow. By publicly endorsing pharmaceutical weight loss, critics argue she may have unintentionally given legitimacy to a dangerous trend. After all, Oprah can afford top doctors, constant medical monitoring, and interventions most people could never access. Her audience cannot. The contradiction becomes harder to ignore. Oprah has preached self-love for decades, yet privately turned to methods she never openly encouraged others to consider. The woman who taught viewers to live their best life now appears caught in the same trap of appearance and pressure she once helped them escape. To some, her confession humanizes her, proof that even icons crack under Hollywood's expectations. To others, it's the deepest fracture yet in the flawless image. Oprah spent a lifetime building. 1-2. Amy Schumer, when vanity collides with motherhood. Amy Schumer built her career on brutal honesty, calling out Hollywood's obsession with appearance while unapologetically embracing her own. She was the rare comedian who made vulnerability a superpower, peeling back the industry's facade with humor and truth. But even she wasn't immune to the seductive promise of rapid weight loss medication. At first, the transformation looked like a success story. Amy slimmed down quickly, sparking headlines, praise, and endless speculation online. But behind the jokes and Instagram posts, a much darker reality was unfolding. The side effects hit her like a tidal wave, relentless nausea, crushing fatigue, and mood swings so severe they made ordinary days feel impossible. The woman who built a career on confidence and chaos suddenly found herself barely able to function. And the cost was devastating. Amy confessed that she was often too sick to play with her young son. The realization shattered her. While Hollywood applauded her shrinking body, she was missing moments she could never get back. Bedtime cuddles, giggles, tiny milestones, only apparent treasures. The pursuit of perfection had stolen something irreplaceable. Unlike many celebrities, Amy didn't bury the truth beneath filters and PR spin. She revealed that a genetic predisposition made the drug's side effects far harsher for her body. "I hated it," she admitted. "I felt poisoned." Her confession tore down the glossy illusion surrounding Hollywood's latest trend and exposed the painful reality behind the scenes. But what truly sets Amy's story apart is what she chose next. She didn't cling to the weight loss. She walked away from it, choosing her health, her peace, and her son over an industry that constantly demands women shrink themselves into silence. It was an act of rare defiance in a culture that rewards conformity. Amy Schumer's message is clear, powerful, and painfully honest. No amount of fame, praise, or red carpet glow is worth losing the moments that truly matter. And in Hollywood, that kind of honesty is the bravest transformation of all. 1-3. Jonah Hill, trapped in a dangerous cycle. Jonah Hill has always been a Hollywood chameleon, not just in the roles he plays, but in the body he inhabits. For years, fans watched him shift between sizes with remarkable speed, sometimes lean and sharp, other times fuller and more relaxed. At first, people applauded his candor about body image and mental health, but his most recent transformation has sparked concern that goes far beyond celebrity gossip. New photos show Jonah thinner than ever, almost alarmingly so, with a gauntness that has health experts raising red flags. Insiders paint an even more troubling picture: long periods of silence, followed by sudden reappearances where he looks dramatically altered, as if undergoing extreme changes behind closed doors. According to sources close to him, this cycle has become painfully predictable. Jonah gains weight naturally, panics under Hollywood's brutal expectations, then turns to drastic methods to shed it at breakneck speed. Doctors warn that this yo-yo effect isn't just unhealthy, it's dangerous. The body can only endure so many rapid swings before the heart, metabolism, and mental health begin to crumble. Friends say the toll is already evident. He sits obsessed with it, one insider shared. It sits like he sits trapped in a loop he can break. The emotional fallout may be the hardest part to watch. Once beloved for his self-deprecating humor and relatable charm, Jonah now appears anxious, tense, and withdrawn during public appearances. His social media presence has turned into a tightly controlled operation: polished photos, strategic angles, carefully filtered glimpses of a man trying desperately to manage the narrative. To many fans, it feels like the Jonah they cherished, funny, warm, unguarded, has been replaced by someone worn down by constant scrutiny. Hollywood loves to celebrate transformations, but Jonah Hill's shifting appearance is a stark reminder that behind every headline-grabbing wow moment may lie a dangerous cycle, one that leaves scars long after the cameras stop flashing. Thanks for watching. If you found this eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We've got even more shocking Hollywood stories coming your way. Stay tuned. The next video will take you deeper than ever.